Greetings, YouTubers. This is the repair of the MA1 Motorola Android Auto car adapter. I think it might do Apple CarPlay. I don't know. I'm an Android user, so it's Android. I have had two of these things. I've tried many Android Auto adapters. This is the best one I've tried out of all of the, I think like 5 or 6 that I've tried. I've tried CarLink 2 and all the other ones. And the reason why I like this one is because it's really quick. The response time is really quick. The connection time is really quick. And once you get through the hassle of pairing it and setting it up, that's it. It's done. The only thing is, like you've probably seen online, these devices do have the possibility to fail after a while. My first one failed after about 1.5 years, near 2 years. And I couldn't have been asked to try and repair it, so I just bought another one. This is the other one. I got it and I've had it a long time, I don't know, a couple of years, and now it has failed. And I'm like, I would just normally buy another one, but then I thought, fuck it, let's just give this a try and see if I can fix it, because I've seen a few fixes out there, and to be honest with you, the fix is super simple and cute. So I've recorded my fix. It was a little bit difficult to do because I was holding the camera with one hand and trying to do it with the other, so I'm sorry it's a bit messy. So here is my Motorola MA1. I have a USB power bank, and we connect the device into the power bank to get it to boot up. And you will see the light sequence of white, green, or white, green, green, which is the boot loop error that I've got. And I believe this is due to the cracked solder. So I'm going to give the test of heating it up and putting it back in a shot. So if you've got this, then yeah, unplug it from your power bank, make sure there's no electricity in it. Now, I've got these two tools. I prefer to use the plastic tool, but either one will do the job. And at the front, just above the LED, basically you stick your tool in between the base unit and the plastic head, and you just give it a little twist and it pops up a bit, and then you need to wedge all the way around to unclip it. Once you've got the lid off, you can remove the 3 screws. You can see them there. They've got the little white rings. So you've got the M3, the M2 and the M1. The MM identifiers for the screws. So once you've got them out, then the motherboard will simply just pop out of the plastic housing. Now this is actually the back of the unit. If you flip it over, you can tell you are looking at the front of the unit because the gold antenna is visible. And here you can see where the USB is connected. So you need to pull the USB out. There are 2 little latches to the sides of the USB, and you can gently pry them with a tool, or if you've got fingernails, with fingernails, and just do a kind of like a left, right as you're pulling it out, and it'll just slide out. Here you can see the 2 sections I'm talking about. So yeah, pull that out. Now you want to get yourself some tin foil. I'm putting it in tin foil because I want to catch any solder that might leak, although I'm not expecting any solder to leak. So yeah, wrap it up well. I'm currently to 200 degrees Celsius. I believe for all our American friends out there, that's 400. I need another moment. I'm almost there. Stick it in the oven set the timer. I've been told it should take 6 minutes, but I gave it 8. Eight minutes later, take it out of the oven. So I let it sit for about 5 minutes before opening it up. Do not cool it, let it cool down itself. Because if it's that hot and you cool it down, you could risk cracking some of the internals. But once it's started to cool down a little bit, you can give it a fan or a blow just so that it's comfortable enough for you to touch with your hands. So we can see no solder leaked. This is a good sign. So now we want to plug our USB cable back into the motherboard and basically stick it in the same way you pulled it out. So that part there is where the USB is going to slot in. The antenna needs to be pointing down, so you can tell where the antenna is. Flip it over. And of course, that's the wrong way. We need to turn it around. So there you go. That's the right way. Push it down into the housing and then screw in your 3 screws again. Pop the lid back onto the top in that exact orientation. And then just clip it down. Now let's test it and see if we have a different light sequence. Plug it back into your USB power bank or whatever it is that you're using to power the device. Cross your fingers and hope. So already we can see we are actually going through the boot process. We're not getting stuck in the loop anymore. This is a great sign. If you need to get it pairing, you just push the pairing button on the side. Push and hold it for 3 to 5 seconds. And once you see the blue light flashing like that, you are good to open up your phone and start scanning for Bluetooth devices and then just pair it again. Happy days. Okay, so now we're on my phone and we want to go open up Bluetooth, start scanning. There she is. Tap on that, click on pair. Voila, job done. The next step is to basically check that you're paired. You can see it there. And now head on down to your car and plug it in. So my car's USB is in the center storage unit. I have the MA1 stuck to the side with the antenna facing the direction where my phone is going to be. I'm just plugging in the USB now. And now we can see it's booting up. I know the light looks blue, it's actually the white light. Now we've got the green connecting. And once we've got the solid green, it should appear up on my HUD. There we go. Voila. Everything looks like it's functioning normally, nice and quick. This looks like a successful fix. I didn't plan that. That was just pure coincidence. Bring me back to life. Motorola MA1 back to life.